Game over.
And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night, and you're here at the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here, of course, with my buddy, Brian. Man, I'm all lost for words, dude.
You got it there, buddy. You got it. You good?
I'm all lost for words. It's too cold for me, man. It's too cold for me.
I
Brian, how's everything going, bro?
Everything's good, man. I don't want to hear about it being too cold for you, bro. It's freezing up here,
dude. Like, there's people that are like Eskimos, and we're like the complete opposite. We live in heat all the time. So when it gets like just like in the 70s, people are wearing burkas and fucking those big ass boots with the girls with the fur. You know what I mean? Boots with the fur. The boots with the fur. How's everything going for you guys over there, man?
Yeah, man. I just felt as if that Jack Frost just whipped out his gack and just slapped us in the face with it, because it's been extremely cold. I think it's like 9 degrees right now, dude. It's 9 degrees? Yeah, it's like 9 degrees outside. And not only that, but like it's got the wind going, dude. It's miserable out there, man.
Do you guys got a lot of high winds or what?
Yeah, it's a lot of high winds. It was snowing earlier, so now everything's frozen. So like my power had went out not too long ago, so I had to go into the basement, and I had to go down the steps outside, and they were all frozen. So it's just a mess. It's
now
a mess.
For all of us people in South Texas, a basement goes underneath the floor of your house.
You guys don't have basements
down here? No, we don't have basements.
Why?
We don't need them. Usually basements, what are basements for naturally?
Storage and I don't know, extra room.
No, I think originally they were made for like hurricane areas, like places that dealt with like twisters and hurricanes and stuff, so that way you could get under the house and kind of survive. We just have
you guys just have attics, huh?
Yeah, we don't. There's like maybe there's a couple of houses, but like it's gonna be one of those like super rare things that you see a house where we live with a basement.
That's extremely interesting. Okay,
yeah,
I mean,
you got a whole generation of people that live down here that have never seen a basement.
Wow.
And so the only thing that we associate basements with is murder. It's murder and suicides and crazy psycho movies, dude. So like, if you put one of us in a situation where we see a basement, fear, just everlasting fear.
Listen, dude, don't get it twisted, man. I don't think I've seen a house that doesn't have a basement, and I always associate it with fucking
with like murder horror movies,
with the worst thing ever. Attics are weird too. Like they're just really always just dark and old, and no one ever keeps their attic correctly. So it's just a bad place.
Things, like you just kind of have it up there because it usually is for storage, or sometimes I think back in the day, like I guess like in the 50s through the 80s, they used to put water heaters up in the attics.
See, so that's where we keep in the basements is the water heaters. I don't think I've ever seen a water heater in the attic ever.
Oh yeah, well that happened to my family. Like I want to say like 4 years ago, we had our water heater pop in
yeah. So if your water heater pops, it's coming down. That doesn't sound.
It doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah, no.
Just dig a hole and put it in there. Like you don't even need to make a whole ass basement. Just put it somewhere that's not above like expensive shit. That's what I would associate it with. But yeah. You ever go like late at night, your phone like reads your brain, and it starts popping up those weird ghosts in the attic things? Like, did it ever fuck you up or no? Like, do you ever get like that
I
kind of
need
creeped out?
you. No, I need you to elaborate on that, sir. That sounds very interesting. What are you talking about?
So, like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I just deep dive. Like, sometimes you're scrolling through what do they have? Like the TikTok recommended or shorts in YouTube. Hey, you're doing good shorts, or we're doing good shorts for gym class majors, dude. Shout out, shout out, my dude. Shout out.
Yes, yes, yes.
But sometimes when I'm scrolling through, like, yeah, I'll have my random things of recommendations, but sometimes it'll kind of be like horror or like something scary, and it like pops off, and it's like someone in a basement, or no, someone in an attic. Fuck that, they're in an attic. Like, it never fails. Basements in my mind associated to like serial killers and dudes that like Michael Myers. Attics, ghosts. Like, never fails. Like, my brain, like, I don't think serial killers in the attic, because it takes a little bit of workout. You got to get there.
All right. I see where you're going with this. I guess I can see your logic there. But why is that? Why is it that we associate ghosts with addicts and serial killers with basements? Because I'm following you. I kind of
get that right. Like, there's like a vibe. It's like a vibe.
But why an addict? Is it like they're like the ghosts are just designated to being in addicts if they ever want to just like fuck around with you or something like that? They can't be in the basement.
Fuck, I don't know. You know what? Sometimes it goes off on the idea of like how you enter the areas.
Okay.
So, like, when you enter an attic, you gotta like peek, and you're always expecting something to like pop. Like,
but then that's where I think the serial killer would be, because it's if you're gonna jump scare somebody, that would be the perfect place.
That would be a pretty good area.
No, man.
But you know what I mean? Like in the basement, I think that kind of like, to me, like, if you're thinking of like concepts and like a story, being that it's underground already associates you with something that's like primarily evil. Like, since it's under the floor, like buried or under your feet, and the whole, hell, Satan and all this other shit. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I've never even thought
no,
of that.
No, please continue. I want to see how far this rabbit hole goes. Like, what else are you associating with basements? Because I'm going to agree with Elizabeth. Primarily, your basement is for where the laundry is and your water heater. And yes, when your 35-year-old child wants his independence or whatever over here in New Jersey, because you can't move out until you're like 30, 35, they're going to get an apartment in the basement. Mm-hmm. That's where you go. But you, sir,
yeah, I probably would live in a basement.
Okay.
Fuck
no. I think that's understood. Basements are off limits to you.
But you know what? Like, I kind of say, like, I mean, you could literally associate living anywhere in any situation. Like, you could just like put a couple bucks into it and make a basement look kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've even seen it before, where we've seen videos of like people online that are selling homes, and the basement is like a game room.
Yeah.
Like, and some of them look pretty damn cool. Like, like just straight up down cool. But that is not happening for the middle class person,
Yeah, we gotta. You know what? I just realized we definitely need to get you up here, because from where I'm from, the basement is where it gets popping. Like, that's where it gets lit.
Really?
The basement, yeah, that spare room in the basement. That's where it's just.
That's the Sean Kingston music video, dude. Everybody's hitting the fucking AC, or what's that thing? The fucking
dude. A lot of house parties, just like
they go in the basement, right?
A lot of house parties are in the basement. Yeah, man.
Is that like the establishing situation? Like, so like where you're from in Jersey, and then like, of course, like New York and all that area. Do a lot of people have parties like in the basement area? There's those like old school houses.
I don't know if they still do, but I know when I was coming up, when I was a kid, when I was in high school or whatever, yeah, every house party I've been to was probably in the basement, and those were the best parties. Like, they were the best.
Sweet. But you know what? Like, that's not like Kansas in the middle of like some fucking nowhere farm that just has a basement. Like, when I
never knew that. That's extremely weird. I didn't know that a lot of places didn't have, like, it's
kind of like a weird thing, right? But the reason why the Valley, or the reason why South Texas, the area that we're in, doesn't really have them is because we're not anywhere close to Tornado Alley. So like, we don't get hit by twisters or tornadoes or high winds or even weather of that nature anywhere close to it. So you can literally cut that whole thing out and save a lot of the building expenses of the house, building an extra floor. So that's kind of why it is that it's like that down here. Now, you will probably find several houses, like I said, that do have basements. They're probably going to be like more high end.
Okay.
Now, the reason why that is because probably more than likely the construction worker that built those houses, the organization was probably from an out of town adjacent thing and had bought real estate down here or whatnot.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
That's what I'm assuming. That would probably be the perfect idea. But like I said, usually down here is you'll find sheds. Like we have like sheds for houses.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course like the attic and stuff like that. So
you guys have it really good out there. Speaking of realty out in South Texas, I follow a couple of like realty pages on Instagram and Facebook as if like I'm gonna buy some shit anytime soon. But some of those houses out there, especially like in the valley, they're beautiful for like dirt cheap. I feel like I'm so jealous over here on the East Coast because for what you guys could pay for what we would consider a mansion out here, oh man, you'll get like a shack over here in Jersey, man, or even New York. It's just
I end up I always watch I think I told you I watch videos of like that lo-fi to go to sleep and stuff, and sometimes I watch like snow videos or like rain videos to kind of get that vibe.
Okay.
And there's one video that I always watch that pops up, which is like a 4K video of window from New York apartment. And it's like raining, so it's like cool. Like so you get the ambiance of the urban area, the cars on the bottom, you know, the little honks in the streets, but at the same time you got that like the window you're getting hit by the rain. It's a really nice one. But from there, the recommendation, I always get videos of people who are talking about like, hey, this is what $700 apartment looks like in New York. This is what a $3,000, and they give you a tour, and it's not the one that's like the TikTok that the guy walks up to the dude and he's like, hey man, how much you pay for rent? No, not that guy, but like this is like a real estate guy that's renting out spots, and he shows you. And man, dude, I've seen you guys like $700 for a spot that's like one room. That
is cap.
It's wild,
you have never seen anything in the past 10 years in New Jersey or New York that costs $700. It doesn't even exist. You can't find anything for $700 a month. You can rent out a room for $700, but that's about it. You're not getting even a studio. If you were to get a studio apartment in New Jersey for $700 a month, you're probably going to need guaranteed life insurance because it's going to be like the worst neighborhood you can fucking imagine.
Goddamn.
I can guarantee you that. And even that, you're not getting it for $700.
Like down here, $700 gets you like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
See, this is the shit that I'm talking
like
about,
townhouse, dude. Like a townhouse. It's really nice. So, but then again, price of living is so much different down here. A lot of the times, a lot of the people are doing more industrial work, like oil rig work or construction or something like that. It needs to be like a two-parent household that's making both funds that are able to provide and make that type of cash.
Man, if that's what it is, man, if I were to come out to South Texas, bro, I'd be living like a king out there. Vince, what's up? I see you. You said what's up, and
yeah, I wanted to make sure we said hi to everybody.
Yes, hi everybody in the comments.
David, Rob, Elizabeth, how you guys doing? Vince, my dude.
Vince said that he wants to own a house. He said he wants to own a house by 2023. Listen, bro, for the price that you guys are paying out there, if you have a house by 2023, just add on a wing for me. You know, just make sure that I have a wing of the house, and you know, I'll
have me a spot. Have me a studio spot.
Split rent with you, yeah.
That it would be really nice. I mean, right now, Brian, you're one of the fellow guys I talk to when it comes to like the economy and talking finances and stuff like that. And we know that right now, economically, we understand that the like the housing industry is kind of like on the low. And the prices are high, but the negotiations apparently are a lot better right now. How do you feel about
everyone complains about the market not being not being a good market right now, but when is it ever really? It's never really a good time. From everything that I've been reading and from what a lot of people are saying, if you're in the market for a house, just go get it. Just go get it right now. Like it's probably the way that we're going right now. It's only going to get worse. So,
but not only that, it's if you can afford to get a house and claim it as an asset, I think that really benefits you to be able to have something to loan against the bank because of the this idea that the economy is going to crash and all this other stuff that's going on, because owning property and owning assets are going to be the only thing that are worth value when it comes to that stuff, unless you have like physical cash.
Yeah, I mean, but it's again, you shouldn't worry about that, because if it gets as bad as what people are predicting with inflation and all that stuff, your value of your property is going to go down anyway. So again, it's one of those situations where if you get in now, it might not be as bad as if you get in like a year or two later. But again, we don't know. We don't know. We always go through these cycles where the market's up. Like the market's up, the market's down, the market's sideways. No one really fucking knows how to predict this shit. So I would just say, just don't scare yourself out of getting property just because of the climate.
Cool thing is how much more attention there is to understanding economy nowadays. Nowadays, you got kids that are graduating from high school with real estate licenses because they offer some kind of program with the school that offers them to get the license and go, man, and come out selling houses and being able to sell houses. I think that's super cool. So it's good, man. It's good. Life's good. Yeah. So it can suck sometimes, but everything's all right, folks. Everything's all right. Elizabeth says, lucky, I think my uncle owns his brownstone on or around an island, or the island, I guess she's talking about your island, like over there in Manhattan, or is she talking about South Padre Island?
I don't know. I'm assuming when she says my other uncle is upstate, I want to say. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming she's talking about New York, Long Island.
There we go.
Boom.
And the other uncle upstate, I want to say
I can't stand Long Island. It's beautiful and it's expensive. So I'm assuming your uncles are rich, but I can't stand Long Island. The traffic. They got the flow. The traffic is insane over there.
I want to say what's up to everybody, and I want to say make sure you guys are staying safe. I know it's cold and the winds are high. What are you guys doing to make sure you guys are keeping warm? And not only that, if you guys are in a struggling situation with this, don't forget to look up your local news places and stuff, guys, because they have warming stations in some schools that are usually open so that you can kind of go chill out, get some coffee and warm up with a group of people. There's nothing bad about that. It's just people helping people. Never feel like it could feel like, I don't know, like, sometimes I would feel like if I was in that situation, like with me, I have just a heater for my room. We don't have like central air and heat in our house. So like each individual room in our house has like a little heater.
Well, that's not bad because you don't have to worry about it. Like it rarely, like what you're going through right now is what you would consider an anomaly with your phone.
Yeah. It's very,
you never have to worry about that.
And not only that, like where we're from, like, I mean, we were talking about this like last week where you were like, bro, it's already cold over here. You guys are still got sunlight and heat and all that other shit. Like it was so weird. Like 2 days ago, it was like 70 high, like 70 mids and high. And then all of a sudden, like today, you can literally see, I was leaving the gym yesterday from teaching my class. And by the time I got home, like the winds were already up and it was cold. It was like, you could see the cold come in. It was such a
boo-hoo.
No. I'm just saying.
Boo-hoo. I don't want to hear about your fucking fucking paradise gripes. I don't want to hear about this shit.
First world complaints. No,
when you need a snorkel, like a snorkel jacket or like a puffer jacket, come talk to me.
Come to me. I got a couple. I got a couple hand-me-downs I can help you out with. Yeah. No, but it's one of those things. Like I was gonna say, like for my situation, like I have like a small heater that I got from like a Dollar General a couple years ago. That was like $20-$30. It was from a regular company. Not too bad. It works. And that's all that matters because it works only when I need it because it's only a couple of days out of the year, maybe a week or two. But like if that went out and we were in a suffering situation, would my brain feel prideful thinking that I failed to go to like a warming station? Does that make sense?
The fuck is a warming station?
So a warming station would be like when the city comes together to open up a gymnasium so people can like, it's almost like a crisis area. So like it allows you to go over there. They have like bunks that are set up that you can kind of relax, stay warm, and be in a heated environment with a group of other people. Okay. I guess in a way there would be a concept where some people would feel like embarrassing or something like that. But guys, but it's just that prideful thing where like sometimes people feel Like they should be able to be at a range in their life that they could take care of themselves in that sense. Like, I don't know, it's like a weird concept. Like it would be like shit, I don't know how to give an example, but
Listen, unless you're just flat out homeless, you shouldn't. And even then,
you shouldn't feel that way.
you shouldn't feel that way anyway. It's you guys don't necessarily focus on heat. And if again an anomaly happens and you guys are in a situation where you have no heat, then what are you gonna do?
You know what's real crazy?
You're gonna freeze to death for your pride, bro?
Yeah,
Fuck
for your
that.
pride and stuff. Yeah, I'm just saying that don't let your pride get in the way. Make sure that you guys, if needed, just go out and get some help if that's the capability. I remember that freeze that happened like 2 years ago, right? 2 or 3 years ago, the real bad one that happened down here. There were people that died because they brought their generators into their house, and the carbon monoxide killed them and their families.
A lot of that happened when Hurricane Sandy hit over here. Yeah, it was really bad. So that's when the first time I heard of something like that happening, where people were just not used to having to rely on generators for just electricity in general, and they were just doing things all wrong. So I'm aware of that happening.
Yeah, that happened here a couple years too. So it's kind of like you could tell in those situations that community isn't prepared for that situation. They haven't been educated on the equipment that they're using. So it can happen, folks. Just make sure common sense stuff. If you're going to use a heater, don't allow things to be in front of it. Make sure not to put it directly on carpet. Put it on something elevated above the floor that it doesn't warm up the ground or it doesn't heat up. Make sure if you're using an external heater, do not plug it into an extension cord to the wall. Plug it directly into the wall. Those power cords, they're not meant to take in that kind of wattage and then transfer that wattage to a plug. So make sure you're just doing the right things. Don't put a heater in another room and then leave it alone. Make sure you're checking up on it every couple of minutes. And also, if you live in a small spot, don't forget that you can kind of turn on your oven for a little bit and let the oven kind of heat up a small area if your living room or your kitchen area is casually small. So the reason why I say this is because people sometimes just don't know that they can use their heaters or their ovens that way. So just giving you guys a couple pointers, and hopefully it helps out. If not, just don't forget your blankets. That's it.
Thanks, Chris.
Hey man, I want to look out for people, dude. I need to make sure that our people are out there watching and being safe, man. Shit. I got to make sure. I remember when we had that we had a really bad thunderstorm hit us a couple years ago, and I brought in like a city official to come and give us like a whole ass like drop on how FEMA's going to come and help us out and what they're going to do to fix the city. And we were all like, it was pretty bad when that tropical storm hit a while back. Hey man, I'm all about helping my community. But going on to news. So just like 2 weeks ago, this week is pretty dry when it comes to nerd news. I am not going to lie.
Dry.
Yeah, there really hasn't been much. I mean, there is a couple of things and rumors that have been going on about Marvel. Of course, there's some talk for DC that's going on. We have a couple things we're going to be talking about. Nothing too crazy. So we're not looking at a crazy lengthy show today. We're looking at something that's kind, relaxing, letting everybody warm up and be cool. So
if there was anything, hold on. If there was anything in the week that you guys have seen in the comments, put it in the comments and let us know. Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Because of course we overlook stuff too. So sometimes events like that don't really catch on to us, and sometimes we need to be reminded. Other than that, so Avatar needs to make $2 billion.
I think that's cap, bro.
Do you think it's gonna work?
I think that's cap. First off, they're not making $1 billion. They're not making $2 billion. There's no way.
The whole, I don't know. The whole like vibe died. Like no one in my region is like, oh man, dude, I need to go to the movies. Let's go see Avatar. Like, I don't feel it. I do not feel $2 billion coming out of this movie.
Interestingly, some things that I overlooked. So I remember last week we were talking about the fact that it had a China release, but the economy in China is kind of effed up right now. Like they're going through a whole like COVID riot uprising right now. They're not worried about going to the movies, and it's just really crazy over there. So I don't know how much money they're gonna get from China. And then also I was reading and I totally forgot about this, but the reason why the first Avatar made so much goddamn money is because it was in the theaters for like ever. It was in the movies forever. They just would not take it out of the movies. So it was kind of like you were going to see this fucking, you were going to see that
Yeah,
movie.
it was there. It was there. It was there for a long fucking time.
Yeah. And so I did read where James Cameron said he needs to make $2 billion to make a profit off of this movie. But I'm not sure if I see that happening. I think it's on track to be around like the Rogue One numbers as of right now. So we'll see, man. We'll see. And we'll see after this weekend the drop off, if there is a drop off. So we'll see, man.
So right now I'm looking at an article from Rap Pro. I've never heard of these guys, but what a title. Avatar 2 bombs in China, but otherwise sourced to 661 million globally.
Again, and that's something that I read is that China's kind of fucked up right now. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure how much money you're expecting to rely on China at this point. It's just bad timing. Like these movies are getting a bad deal, man. And like nothing is going right in the way of Hollywood. I don't know how James Cameron is going to justify making like a 3 and a 4 or a 5 of these if it's looking like they may just break even. And I don't know. Let me ask you a question. If you're a Disney executive and you gave James Gunn, I think it was like 450 million to make this money. That's just the budget to make the movie. That's not the money for advertisement, and
distribution,
and the stupid ass 3D glasses you're gonna have all across the world. So you're probably gonna you probably need like 1.5 to break even. Would breaking even make you feel comfortable making more of these movies?
No.
Yeah.
Right now, what it is, I think movie production companies and directors and all the studios themselves need to realize that the movie industry right now is not hurting because movies suck. It's hurting because the world is hurting.
It's different.
Yeah, it's just way different. And if they're going to be putting out movies that are making them bankrupt because they're not making the money that they want back, want is a really hard word compared to need. I think that they need to kick back some of this money, stay on some of the technology that they have that's not breaking the bank to use, and start making stories and films that are good, that are actually like back to classics and they work right. And then you kind of get away from the CG stuff if that's the thing that's killing the finance. You know, they need to make movies that people care about. They need to make. How
do you suggest someone do that? Like you kind of need it in 2022, 2023.
I mean, if you're competing, I mean, yeah, like the Avatar movie or whatever, like comparing it to what it was that they spent in the first movie, right? So let's go back and see Avatar.
They didn't spend anywhere near what they spent for this movie. They spent an obscene amount of money to make this movie. I think they made Avatar 1 for like half the budget for this movie.
Well, you see, like so we know for sure, and this goes back to this like concept that I keep telling people, like Star Wars, the original trilogy are still to this day probably some of the best movies, and they made a lot of money. And that's not anywhere with them being rebooted or whatever the fuck that we've done nowadays. If James Gunn would have used the same type of technology and just returned back to this movie and implemented like 1 or 2 ideas that are technology based, rather than coming in and being like, no, 100% of my shit's going to be technologically based and it's going to be so different and it's going to be amazing and I need this money. What he needed to do again is come back and reestablish the story to be able to have people to back it up. The problem with this film was not that he spent a lot of money in the beginning. It's the fact that he made a movie 14 years later where he kind of was relying on the fact that since he made so much money the first time, that this movie was guaranteed to make that much money. But again, like the reason why that money has made that much money is not because people were going to the theater every week and watching it over and over again a million times. It was throughout the time that it stayed in the movie theater that it made so much money. It was the grossing factor that it stayed and lingered for so long, and nothing competed against it. Nowadays, Marvel pops out one of these movies every couple of months. Like comparing what Avatar has done or the excitement of it, would you go see a Marvel movie or would you go see an Avatar movie?
I don't think that's fair because I'm not an Avatar fan.
But that's the whole thing. He doesn't have an established fan base.
There are no, I don't. No, that's not true. There are a lot of people that are Avatar fans. So
of the first movie,
of
14 years ago,
of Avatar. Listen, like regardless of whatever we may think, they're still making money. Like if it didn't cost so much to make, we would have a different topic. But before you get to that comment, I will give a little bit of pushback with your analogy about Star Wars, because for the time that was made, they probably spent the same amount with inflation that James Gunn used to make this movie. That movie was ahead of its time. That's the reason why everyone loves that movie or those trilogies, because it was ahead of its time and it looked high budget. It looked like it was something out of the future. So I don't like your analogy there, but I do think there is some fatigue from moviegoers in they're not beat for going to see a movie. And I did like your point about it being 14 years later. Yeah. That was my whole problem. I saw the first Avatar in movies, blown away, just like everybody else. But that was 14 years ago. I was a different person then.
Yeah, a different person then.
I don't care about the story anymore, especially when I know you're going to give me the same goddamn story again. So like, I'm not going to go see it.
What kind of growth can happen? Have you heard like what this film is casually about?
Yeah.
Like it's after hearing someone explain it to me.
Rob is dying. He's the second time he's asking. No, I did not. I'm not watching. Listen.
Yeah, there's not like a big pump for it, man.
You know what? Another part about this that I read that is very interesting, and it's the streaming services. Like, if I'm not interested in seeing a movie, there's really no FOMO because I'll be able to see it I'll be able to see it in a month on a streaming service, or I'll be able to rent it in the comfort of my own home, as opposed to sitting in a movie theater for 3 hours, worrying about going to take a piss and missing something.
And missing something of the movie.
That's not, in favor of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's a weird time, man.
It's counterintuitive, man. The way that James Gunn James Cameron came and established this film to be like, it's 3 hours. If you piss, just come back and watch it again. And it's like, dude, I'm not going to spend another $30 on this film. There's nothing.
I rather say I'm not spending another 3 hours watching this film.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Listen, I sat and I watched Endgame twice.
You're invested in the Marvel universe.
I spent 6 hours watching Endgame.
You went into Endgame.
I've done it,
knowing what you were expecting.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like I don't know what to expect from James Cameron except water and blue people. Like that's it.
Rob, I put it to you like this, man. First off, I'm not seeing this one in the movie theaters, and if the next one is gonna be like anything, even if it's another 3-hour movie, they are bugging. Like they're tripping.
Yeah, that's full of shit, Rob. I'm not gonna believe that they're gonna make a 6-hour and a 9-hour movie.
I'm sure they could have wrapped this movie up in a nice 2.5-hour bow and call it a day.
You want to know? You want to know also why I believe it's not even gonna be 6 hours? Because he ain't even making enough to make it a 3-hour. He is not making the money to make it a 3-hour movie.
And what executive in their right mind, and this is a big if they don't make the money that they want to make to feel comfortable proceeding.
James Cameron comes in and goes, next one's 6 hours. The guy,
no. Get out of here. Like, again, the audacity of you coming in here asking for that.
If James Cameron makes a 6-hour film, but he does it on his his iPhone 14 and films just a bunch of people in makeup, bet 6 hours. Go ahead, man. $20, $30, the whole movie's gonna cost. They're not gonna do a 6-hour film because he did not make the money to make a 3-hour film. Robert says, I see they could have wrapped it up in like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and that would have been enough to wrap it up. Maybe an extra 45. That's it. Dude, I really think that they could have wrapped it up in an hour.
That's excessive.
No,
James Cameron is not making an hour movie, so I got to give him a little bit of respect. And the fans of Avatar deserve, after a 14-year layoff, they deserve They deserve a good runtime. But
what he should have done was he should have done the 2-hour movie and made an establishing universe.
Especially if there's gonna be more.
Yeah.
Like if there's gonna be more movies to come, I don't know why you need to be this long.
Just looking at this James Cameron, you could tell this dude's just jumping on the hype. He's jumping on the hype of the trilogy train. That's all he's doing. He had Avatar 1, and he could have made sequels to that shit a long time ago, but he just chose not to. Now Avengers is out here making fucking 15 movies, fucking billions and billions of dollars.
Nah, he's the OG. No, he's the OG. He has the movie that made the most money of all time. So I would not say that.
Now look at him.
He had no, but that's because of his movie and his hard work that he's doing this. It's not because of what Marvel is doing. It's not because like they're all playing catch up to what he's already achieved. So I wouldn't pin it on that. But yeah. You know what this movie is like to me? You know what this movie was like to me is one of those movies where I needed there to be people coming out of this movie saying this is the best movie they've ever seen in their fucking life. And I'm not hearing that. What I'm hearing is it's beautiful to look at, and the story is lackluster. I'm not sitting through a 3-hour movie through like I get it. It's pretty to look at, but I don't know, man. It's not for me.
Yeah, but even with that, the first movie, the story was still mediocre. I compare it every day to Ferngully.
Yeah, but it was the hype, though. It was the hype. It was new technology. It was, the most beautiful movie we have ever seen at that point. So I get that. I get the hype for that. If you're telling me that we're just gonna do the same thing, then yeah.
Yo, but like there's just, man, I'm telling you, there's just something about it that I'm telling you, like, what he should have done was he should have came back and established a franchise and then build into that $1 billion movie. Like, that's the whole thing. He should have done this like as a, okay, cool, let's return back to this IP. Let's establish more characters. Let's not spend $1 billion on the first shot, because we got to see if people still care about this franchise. Because yes, people are fans of the first Avatar movie, but 14 years ago, that was awesome. Now, like I said, Marvel pumps out one of these movies every 4 months. It was cool to have that one establishing movie from one director. That's the highest grossing film of all time. But then you get a franchise that makes 30 films that have 20 of the second best film, and you're already maximizing the amount of money compared to that one.
Let me ask the people in the comments a question. Has anybody besides Rob, I know Rob has seen it, has anybody else in the comments seen this movie?
Dude, do you see Elizabeth's comment? That's fucking funny. She's like, dude, didn't he direct Titanic? Like, he should just merge Titanic and Avatar together and make it an alternate universe. Fucking rad. I would totally watch that shit. You make it to where the people like in the water world that they're in, the half of the boat from the Titanic like teleported when it reached the bottom of the lagoon, and it landed on Pandora. And then you just see like Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, swim out of the bottom.
His frozen body.
He looks like the dude from the Water World. What's his fucking name?
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. He just swims out like Kevin Costner. He's got like all that like seaweed as like a skirt, and he's got like elf ears and shit. Like that would be. I would watch the fuck out of that movie.
Do you know? I mean, have a lot of your friends seen this movie?
Robert.
That's it.
That's it. That's the only person that I know that's seen this movie.
That's weird. That's weird.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like,
I don't know anyone.
It's not weird. I mean, it's just one of those things.
No, that's weird that you don't know anyone that has seen this movie besides Rob.
Yeah. Look, Elizabeth is in San Antonio. She hasn't seen it either.
I don't know anyone that has seen this movie besides Rob either.
Vince. Okay, Vince, have you seen this movie? If Vince
there's
has seen
no,
it, then
there's zero shot Vince saw this movie.
I don't know, man.
There's zero shot.
Movies. Vince
no, but Vince is a tough cookie, man. He's a tough cookie to win over, man. So I would be shocked.
What I have to ask about this is
maybe
if anybody has the like that program that you can go back and watch a movie. Like, did anybody use that to go see this movie?
What do you mean?
Like the one that you get like a free movie per month or whatever, or a discount. The AMC ticket.
Oh, thing. like the see, if I had that,
anybody even use their free ticket to go see
now?
This
See,
movie?
If I had that, I'd probably see this movie. But I don't think, for me personally, it's not a money issue. It's just the fact that I just didn't want to sit in a 3-hour movie of a franchise I'm not a fan of.
Is like, you get that ticket for free, and you get the opportunity to go see a movie. Like, is this one of the movies you spend it on, or is it something that you say like, nah, I'll just wait until it comes out on stream? Like, it's not even worth the free rebate ticket.
I think this movie would be the ideal movie to use that on, because you don't, let's say for some reason you don't like it. You don't like the movie. I mean, it's quote unquote, just you really didn't spend any money on it. It's you're paying monthly for it. So this would be the movie where this would come in handy. All those other movies, it's just there,
So right now, of course, from what James Cameron said before, James Cameron said before the film came out, is he needs to make $2 billion to break even. The studio also, Studios X. I think that's a very niche, kind of like just throwing it out there. I think it's closer to what you said, where he has to make at least minimum of 1.5, maybe 1.25 billion. For at least the opportunity for it to get to save face and get their money back. 2 billion, I think he's just throwing that out there because he's full of himself and he thinks it's going to make that.
Listen, if James Cameron pulls 2 billion out of his ass on this one, then he's a magician.
Yeah,
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Let me ask you a question. That was actually my question. Do you see them making $1 billion? And if so, how do you think they get there?
No, well, I mean, we talked about this last week where we were super surprised that China was still an option. And then thinking about it, like, they only made 8 million in China. Like, it bombed completely, 8 million in China. But yeah, I mean, we can take it up. We can chalk it up for like, they're still locked up. They're still dealing with the coronavirus, rules and regulations that they have to follow. If it becomes a little bit more laxed, do we get an influx of people going out more and going to the theater? Maybe. We can't tell. We don't know the culture. If they're very conservative in that situation, they just don't choose to leave because they just still don't feel comfortable. I don't see it happening for James Cameron. Same thing, like we didn't get it for Wakanda Forever. We didn't get the money that they associated with that they were going to get for that movie either. And that's because that IP is at least more popular. And it's more recent. It's more reoccurring. People understand it more. Younger generation wants to see it. There's a lot of people that it consults to, and a lot of people just, they trust it more. Avatar 2, I don't think so. I think the hype literally left last week when it was coming out, and the people that didn't go watch it, people are going to spend their money on Christmas stuff, New Year stuff, rather than going and spending all this money to go see a movie they don't know if it's going to be good or not.
I think this weekend will be telling with the holiday here. I think it all depends on whatever the drop off is. I think if it's gonna be what most of the movies are dropping off on their second week, like every other freaking movie that we've seen in this year, they may be in trouble. And Elizabeth alluded to a movie that I actually do want to see, and that's the Whitney Houston movie. I wasn't originally, but actually today I saw someone do like a little soft review on that movie, or at least what they know of it, and they said it was really, really good, and that it dives and it's actually made from like Whitney Houston's estate in her team. So you would think that it would be like a softball type of movie, but they get into it. Like they get into a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of interested to see that.
I kind of want that tea and that drama. I'm lacking it right now. Everything's super
Yeah.
cool. I need that turmoil. You need to see some Bobby Brown.
I mean, but not only that, but Whitney's a Jersey girl, so she holds a soft spot.
Well, she's an icon, man.
And
she's
so,
an icon. Like,
yeah,
she was one of the greatest people on the planet, best singers in the world, and then she ended up marrying Bobby Brown, who was just like, of course, an icon in the R&B world and in the boy band style R&B groups back in the day. And then all of a sudden, they started that reality show, and you got to see their fucking lives unfold in front of everybody, and then you realized how nuts they were and how crazy they got. And for there was a lot of scrutiny about the abuse and all the things that Bobby Brown was going through with Whitney and all this other stuff. So for you to tell me that they're making a movie about Whitney Houston and they're deep diving,
they're giving it up.
Like,
they're giving it up. From what I'm hearing, they're giving it up because, and not to go off on a tangent on Whitney Houston, this is not what the topic is, but yeah, no, I want to see that movie, and I'm way more interested in that than Avatar.
Than Avatar 2, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's just what it is, and it's not a problem. Sooner or later, I'll get along. I think we'll come to terms with watching it, but it's probably going to have to be closer to streaming, which I don't even know if it's going to do. I think for them to pick up on the slack of the money they lost, they're going to have to stream it like everywhere. They're going to have to stream
All right,
it.
so let me ask you a question, right? And we don't have to stay on Avatar 2 for too much longer.
Yeah.
Because we do have other things to talk about. Mm-hmm. But if this is deemed a failure, because remember last week we were talking that a lot of people were saying that they're depending on this movie to show people that Hollywood is back and the movie theaters aren't dead and all that stuff. If we get the same that we've been getting, what does that say? Like, what does that mean?
Well, this goes back to what I was talking about, where these studios are going to have to realize that they're going to have to pull back on this technology and all the extra stuff that they're trying to push out. They're trying to get their monies in some way, right? So like you look at as a matter of fact, look at The Matrix, the one that recently came out.
Mm-hmm.
They were banking on the idea of the name The Matrix. And they didn't tell people till it was the very end, like months later, that they were like, oh, hey guys, you may not have liked this movie, but we used like a new type of technology. So, we stuck to our guns and we did our thing. And it's like, well, I mean, we didn't see anything different because the story was the same. The character was, there was some of that idealistic agenda that people talk about that Hollywood's trying to portray, where they brought Trinity up and to be like this massive superhero hero. And
I get that. I get that on a micro level.
Yeah,
when you deep dive into the story and all that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like on a macro level. Does this signify that Hollywood may be in some deep shit? Like they may be in trouble. Like it may be the writing on the wall is that it could be over. If this movie is supposed to be the quote unquote savior of Hollywood and it just does what every other fucking movie is doing,
does what everybody else does,
and they're not even making, making par, they're not even, making their money back. What does that signify? What does that mean?
I think Hollywood needs to come to considerations that the times are just different. Like they're gonna have to cut the fat off of what they've been eating. Like that's just what it is. Everything that they've done is kind of like they just throw money at everything.
So does that mean so does that mean producing less movies? Does that mean producing more movies with just a lower budget, or executives not giving people like James Cameron just all the money in the world? They feel comfortable giving them all the money in the world to make this movie and not see a return on it?
I think the first one is they're going to have to cap the budgets on what it is that they're allowing people to make and say with their finance. Like, because James Gunn, like we said, or James Cameron came in and was like, oh, I paid for these walls and these studios. Give me $2 billion to make a film.
I think you could group James Gunn in this as well, being that he's going to be the head over there at DC. I don't know with what we're seeing money-wise, revenue-wise, if they're going to give him that leeway.
I do give it to James Gunn, like with the way that they did Suicide Squad. He's a lot more grounded than a lot of these new age directors that just want to use CG and everything. Okay. Like James Gunn at least establishes this idea that there's going to be some times where he can get away with like puppeteering or some like good old fashioned stunt work, where a lot of dudes are like, nah, we'll just CG, fucking Korg fucking jumping or doing this stuff. Like he doesn't really correlate that way. Like he wants to kind of use like some of the old school matter because I think that's that trope that he's a part of when he was younger. He was part of like that toxic Avengers trope where they were always doing a bunch of like special effects and stuff like that. So I think he'll be a little bit more grounded in the realism of the movies. And then right now, if he's reestablishing the DC universe, there shouldn't be too much of like that cosmic mind going thing. It should be very simple. It should be very grounded on how they're handling their superheroes. Very Captain America-esque. A lot of stuff like on ground level, nothing too crazy. Superman, of course, is going to be back to being a young cat.
I think you got James Gunn all the way fucked up. I think if you give him the head role at DC, he's going to be asking for $500 million to make a fucking movie. I think you have him completely fucked up. You're talking about James Gunn. This is the guy that gave you almost a completely CGI movie in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians. But Guardians was one of those ones that it was like experimental. They didn't even know if the series itself was going to be success because it was coming from a comic book that was very like cliche. No one really knew about. They knew there wasn't like a big fan base. It was very, very tight knit. Took a big risk and he pulled it off though. Like he pulled it off. He was able to pull off that film. So when they brought him into DC and he did Suicide Squad, it was in better fashion than the first movie. So in that aspect, if you gave him a roster of better characters that he's comfortable with, because the Suicide Squad themselves as a story, like it's just a bunch of funny dudes. That movie would have probably been better for Taika Waititi. Like in my opinion, a Suicide Squad movie where it's like more based on raunchy comedy, and like adult humor. I think Taika Waititi would have done a lot better with the way he's handled like What You Do in the Shadows and all that other stuff more than James Gunn. I think James Gunn does superheroes good. Like I really think he does. But I really think like when going back to the conversation we're talking about, because we're going to talk about James Gunn later, they need to cap the budget on what they're doing for big blockbuster films. And there needs to be some type of insurance. Like there needs to be some type of like promise or something that the studios are going to be making that money back. Because if they don't figure out the algorithm to make films, they're going to keep losing big money. And I don't think I think right now Warner Brothers is in the hole. And I think after all the cutting and all that stuff of all the fat and all the Batgirl and all the stuff that they've been kind of like cutting and doing this stuff, they're taking a lot of opportunity from the bailbacks and the insurance claims on these films, but they're going to be in the hole. They need to make sure that whatever James Gunn and the other person that he's with, whatever they're doing when they come in, they need to be successful because this is it. Before they cut DC off completely and they just stop making films and caring about it before they sell out, I think they need to get it right. Like right now, you're right. Hollywood is in the hole. The only films that are making money are the ones that people are comfortable with, which is, in my opinion, the superhero genre. Other than that, a lot of people just don't really care to make those movies popular. So
I think Elizabeth made an interesting comment. She said, I feel some of the problem is having the lack of access to China cinemas, plus with China wanting more local patriotic forward films. Cena had the issue with the Cena thing. Cena sometimes he just talks too much. He said something that he shouldn't have said when you're trying to appeal to an Asian community. Like just that he shouldn't have did that. But I will, Liz, I will say though, for me, it seems as though Hollywood can survive without China. Would it help a lot of movies if they were to be seen in China? Yes. But Top Gun made $1 billion and it wasn't played in China. So it can be done. I just think I don't know what is happening with some of these movies that they're I think it's the economy and just where we are as a society, but I don't necessarily think we need China as much as we needed them in the past. Maybe at one point in the past we did, but I don't know if their money is going to make or break the success of a movie these days, personally.
That's a good point. I think also the what Hollywood itself as a studio, unless it's particular to a film, needs to do is be very middle line when it comes to like the political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to kind of push away from doing that stuff and stop establishing it more in film where it's necessary, and make it to where if they can write it and it be organic, then it work for the character development. But if it's not something that's based on the character or some type of has like a meaning that actually helps the story build or whatever, they shouldn't try to establish it just to get like it's almost like Brandon Roth's Superman. You remember that Superman movie, the one with Brandon Roth?
No.
That was right after 9. It was the same thing with Spider-Man. It was right after 9/11, and after those movies came out. Yeah, like the Toby. I think it was like one of the Tobey Maguire movies.
You said Spider-Man or Superman?
Well, both of them. Like during those times, like when films were coming out, like superhero films.
Okay.
The companies specifically tried to make it where every character had a American flag shot. Like they made it to where it was like establishing, like they were like, oh, here's Superman standing in front of 4 American flags, like as they swing in the background.
Okay.
Like sometimes it works for Superman a lot because he's like even his costume is red, white, and blue or whatever.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
But the thing is like they did that to cater to the emotional situation that was going on in the country. So like a lot of those shots, like there would be shots of like Spider-Man where he like stands up and like there's like a flag blowing in the back, and it's like, woo, like yeah, like patriotism and stuff. And it's like right now it's a weird culture to explain or talk about because of the degree of situation that we are in our country right now. But back in the day, the company did not do it because they were trying to make it wasn't done in good spirits. It was done in the situation they were like, hey dude, like this is going to make money, put it in the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like when they do that, it doesn't do anything for the story. They just throw it in there just so that they can be like, oh, look, we're patriotic. Oh, look, like look at us. We're showing our support or whatever in this way. But it's not a part of the story. It's not a growth of the story. It's not a growth of the character. The character wasn't like that before. It's just thrown in there. When that happens a lot of the times people just watch it and they're like, oh man, that's forced. You'll hear people say it. Oh man, that just felt forced. That just felt forced. And it's like, if you go to a film and you watch a scene and there's a major part of the film that feels forced, you're going to be very taken out of the film. So when that happens, the next time you go to see those films, you're just going to be like, nah, like I didn't really dig the last one, so I'm not really into this one. You're already going to deem it not worth your time in the second time around. That was like, I fucking Thor: Love and Thunder. I knew Taika Waititi was going to make that movie funny, and I was kind of nervous about it at first, but I gave it a chance to go see it at the theaters. But I remember how disappointed I was at the very beginning of the film when he rides Stormbreaker like a Wicked Witch of the West or whatever. Like the moment I saw that, like I was momentarily ready to walk out of the theater and just say, fuck this stupid film. That literally almost like helped me to, like, I was almost done with that film without even giving it a chance. So right now, through and through, if Taika Waititi was brought on to make the next Thor film, I wouldn't even care to watch it. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a good director, because of course we talk about it. Ragnarok was great, but him purposely putting in stuff because he just wanted to troll people or make fun of this character or shit on people's beliefs or shit on people's wants and desires for a character. Hollywood's going to say, hey, well, that's cool because that's what you wanted. You got to come see this movie. And they just end up losing a fuckload of their audience. There has to be more sensibility to the audience when it comes to making films. You can't just make a film because I don't know how to explain it anymore. Like, I don't know how to break it down. It's just films have become such a nuisance almost that you have to kind of like argue with yourself if you think it's worth your time or not. Like it wasn't like that before. Films weren't like that. Like Batman. How do you feel about Batman?
Which one?
I'll tell you what, the Joker movie with Lady Gaga making it a musical.
I don't necessarily make decisions without seeing
Something.
something. Like
Yeah.
I can be harsh, yes, sometimes on certain movies, but that's after a trailer or a preview
Something.
or at least something being leaked. If I don't have anything to go off of, I don't necessarily make judgments on the movie. It could be one of the best things I've ever fucking saw. I don't know. Um, do I necessarily at this juncture think I need a musical Joker movie? Probably not. But I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know how to think of it. I want to see something before I make any type of judgments. I don't think I've ever been on this show and I made judgments on something that I haven't at least gotten something to go off of. So we'll
What's
see.
up?
I don't know.
What's up to Ham in the comments? It's good to see you, my dude. And David just left a comment that is super important that we keep hearing over and over again. Quality is key.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Look at what it is that Phase 4 and Kevin Feige and all these guys came out. They said we're going to do Phase 5 and we're going to do quality over quantity. Bob Iger, quality over quantity. It's because of the fact that they were going and allowing just anyone and everything to run through the stories and do whatever they wanted without sticking to the curriculum of what it is that they were trying to do in the first place. And I know we've talked about this before, and we always talk about the source material, right? And you always tell me like, oh no, dude, like there's no source material, like it's already by far. But the problem is all of this stuff was established on source material. All of the Marvel universe was based on source material. You look at the first 2 phases and it was all based on, you look at the first 10 years was all based on some type of source material. What are they basing it on now?
Loosely. It was loosely based on source material. And not only that, but you have a hard time looking at it from any other perspective other than a fan perspective of the source material. I can look at it from
where it was successful without it.
I can look at it from that perspective, but also from a business perspective, because that's what this is. That's what these movies are. They're not going to always cater to just the source material and the hardcore fans, because that's not where the money's going to be. So whenever you realize that, you're gonna have to realize that some things are going to take a hit. So,
but how much of a hit do you take before you realize you got to go back? Because that's what's going on with Phase 4.
Why would they need to? Why would they? But before that, they were making billion-dollar movies loosely based off of the source material. Like a lot of this, they're going to do whatever they feel is going to make the most money. Now, whether that aligns with the source material or it doesn't, that's going to be remaining to be seen. But
that's not even, I mean, though, that's not even the factor of like a movie that doesn't have source material.
What?
Like we're talking about Hollywood itself as in general, right? Like, yes, I can claim it off of Marvel and I can say like, even though it's loosely based on the source material of stories, the core of the stories are still there. Primarily the first 10 years was literally dedicated to the Infinity Saga. And I can go back and cater and find each little comic book that went through each one of those stories and find out how it all correlates to something in the comics and makes sense. Right now, it's way more looser because it really doesn't
do that. You can't do that to anything in Phase 4.
Moon Knight. But then Moon Knight's kind of like an origin story. Kamala Khan's entire story got rewritten. The only thing that kind of stayed was that she's Pakistani Muslim, right?
They've created, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but they've created such a monstrosity, such a juggernaut in the movie world. They have come too far. I hear what you're saying, and I get what you're saying. I hoped that there was a way for them to stick to the source material 1000%. Because if I'm being honest with you, I will agree with you. The source material is way more interesting than what they do sometimes, or most of the times. I will agree with you.
Practice in the source material.
I will agree with you there, but that's not where the money lies. Sad to say, the comic book community in the world of Hollywood is a niche genre. It's a niche group. They need to appeal to the masses. They're not going to do that with sticking to the source material because most of the people, they're not going to understand what the fuck is going on. They're not going to be able. They're not going to know. They're not going to know what's going on.
Yeah,
so
but
that's the reason
why
why
it's happening right now to these companies.
But listen, just listen. But that has nothing to do with the fact that they're not sticking to the source material. Again, we just listed a litany of reasons as to why these movies are failing. It has, and to me, that's just my opinion. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're not sticking to the source material. I doubt that. I don't think that's the case at all. It's just the fact that it's the climate that we're living in. I don't think that the solution to the problems that they're having, and to answer my question when I ask you what is quality over, like, quality is key, I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that they're not sticking to the source material. I don't think, personally, my opinion, I don't think that's the reason why.
Well, I mean, for sure it doesn't go across the board about source material. And the reason why I say that is, like, you look at Avatar 2, what source material does it have other than the movies? Right.
Yeah, but that's an original idea.
So you can't really say it's not sticking to source or whatever, right? Because it's its own entity by itself, created through film, not through any other type of genre.
They can do whatever they want with that movie.
They can do, they can be organic, which is very good for them. It gives them a lot of opportunity because you don't know where the story is supposed to go. The thing about comic books is you generally know where the story is supposed to go. There are expectations, especially when the companies are calling them by their IPs from the comic books. And that to me has been like the biggest thing, is like, now we're in a point of Marvel. And I know we're sidetracking from just Hollywood itself, and we're kind of talking just about Marvel.
We have been all over the place, so you don't have to worry about that.
But it's because I feel comfortable talking about Marvel because that's what I know more over than Avatar 2 or any other film. Because as a matter of fact, I can't name another film other than Marvel or a DC IP that's a money-making film that's in the movie theaters right now, other than Top Gun. I mean, because everybody talks about Top Gun. But I can't think of any other film that's out there that does that. But right now in the movies, they've gotten to a point in the comic books where a lot of people never really cared for them because it changed too much, which is past the All New, All Different series. And you can kind of look that up when it comes to the correlation between film to comics. But with the movies getting to this part in the comic books where they had trouble accepting the America Chavez, accepting the Kamala Khan, accepting the Kate Bishop character, when comic book readers themselves were having trouble accepting those characters, even the Son of Hulk that just magically came up in the last TV show or whatever, now they're doing this thing, or were, which I really doubt they're going to do now, which is where they were telling people like, hey, it's best you don't read the source material because we're not even sticking to it. I just want you as an artist to give me what it is you think the character does.
But I would challenge that in saying that I don't think the backlash or the non-success, if you will, of some of these shows or movies isn't because they're sticking to the source materials, because they're just not good. It's because they're not written well. I think that was the
problem with the comic books, right?
Those
characters.
But even if you took liberties with certain things, if you wrote it a certain way and it was written well, then a lot of people would give you, or would grant you more
leadway or something.
Exactly. Yeah. But they're just not good. That's now when you say quality is key, I think that's where that statement lies. You can do whatever the fuck you want as long as you make it good. If you make it good and give a little bit of fan service, you are a great example. You may not like some of the things that they do, but if they hit certain notes and do it well, you're on board, right? So
I think if there's respect for the character, the story doesn't have to be
identical.
On the nose. Look at Civil War. I love Civil War in the Marvel universe. I thought it was great.
I was going to use that as an example earlier.
Yeah, because it's the best thing to kind of touch base on when it comes to this, because Civil War in the comic books was it was hardcore.
It was insane. And there's just no physical way
they could have
for
pulled that off at that
them to
moment.
pull that off at that. I think at any moment
Yeah.
in the way that we're going. Like
Yeah,
we would have
because
had to have
that
been
of
like
course is like
25 years down the line for them to
Yeah.
pull off a Civil War comic book
well
accurate
because of the
movie.
fact that the scale of it in the comics was very similar to the way Infinity War was or Endgame was. It was that scale of a movie where it had that many actors and all this other stuff. There was no way you were going to pull it off. No way you'd pull that off. But the way that they kind of switched it around and made it to where it was this like interesting revenge story and a big growth character for Bucky and T'Challa chasing him down after his father's death, like they still were able to implement parts or pinpoints that let you understood that it was somewhat part of the Civil War story. The Sokovia story, which was from Age of Ultron, ended up being changed over to mutants or heroes, people with powers against people without powers. Tony Stark wasn't like a complete asshole villain, but him and Captain America did have a pretty cool like a debate or disagreement with their choices. Like during that time, the advertisement of the film was good. If you were Team Cap or Team Iron Man, the fight at the end was everything was good. And no, it didn't stick directly to the source material, but it was loosely based on it. But comparing Civil War to them changing Kamala Khan to a mutant and then not making her powers that based on her own abilities, but based on bangles, and then giving her time travel. And then there's a point where you have to say like, hey, that's a little too much. That's way too much freedom for you to give to this character that's nothing like her in the comics. Like that's nothing like her. So of course, people that are fans of this character have to make a choice that if they're comfortable with her now or not just based on her representation.
And that right there is where you're missing it. It's because they're not making this just for the people that are fans. Again, that's a niche, a very small, and I hate to say this because I know you don't want to hear it.
No, it's fine. I understand.
It's a very small group of people that they are worried about. They need to sell this to the masses. They need this to appeal to a lot of people in order for this to be deemed a success and for to keep up with the train that's already on the track. So I feel like I have to say this to you constantly because I feel for you because I know this like some of these characters hold and some of these stories hold such a place in your heart, but sometimes you got to look at it from a business perspective. I would not.
Look at it. No. I try to look at it that aspect too.
I would not want you if I was your friend and you were making these movies. I would have to put you to the side. Like, listen, I get it. Like, some of this stuff is cool, but you're gonna lose a lot of people with some of this shit. They're not gonna know what the fuck is going on. And although you will be happy with it, no one's gonna see this movie. Like, no one's gonna see this show. So, like, it's a weird place in between. And we can go on, we can move on because we have way more other things to talk about, and we don't have to stick on this because we literally have this conversation at least like once or twice a month. Like,
yeah, but this goes back to the idea of quality. What would be the definition of quality then when it comes to Marvel making better than Phase 4?
You say that it's sticking. You say that it's, and again, I want to move on because we're just going in loops now. But for you, we've established it's them sticking or try to stick more to the source material like they did in the first 10 years. I say it's them worrying more about not pumping out so much and just getting whatever story you're gonna write, get it, whatever story you're trying to tell, get it right, get it sound. Don't make it so sloppy. A lot of these shows, a lot of these movies that we're watching, they seem rushed and they seem sloppy. The stories just aren't appealing as they once were. I don't know if it's Marvel fatigue, which I think could have a lot to do with it as well. It could be a combination of things. But I don't know for me personally if it has anything to do with them sticking to the source material. I don't. Because they've been successful with just them loosely basing it off of the source material. So
yeah, we'll talk about this for sure. But yeah, like I do get what you mean, because the thing is like, I guess the definition is what is quality in the sense of
That's
what
why I
this.
asked you. That's why I asked you, because it's very simple.
It's
but
a hard way to kind of explain it, right?
No, not that. But that was I forgot who asked that question, but it was a great question because, like, I think that's gonna.
Key.
Yeah. Okay. So, David, that's a great question because it's something so simple, but depending on who you ask, you're gonna get a different
definition
answer.
of what quality is.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, that's true. That's straight. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Elizabeth says, I feel like if Marvel isn't careful, it's going to go the route of 7 or 9 for Star Wars in the term of extra toxic fandom. Good call. And then David says, even if the average consumer has no knowledge of the source material, if the movie is good, they'll go to the source material after, but they may be disappointed with the disconnect. Good point.
I can see that.
I can see that. What is it? Vince says we can get a Cher movie. I think he meant Cher. Cher, the singer. Okay, I'm about that.
God, I hope that you meant Cher.
Yeah, because I don't know what Cher's. I was thinking like a movie about scissors, like a movie about some fucking scissors to cut sheep hair and shit. And then question from Vince, the mighty man himself. Question: have you guys seen Yellowstone the series?
I have not started it. I know that's like sacrilegious. I do plan on watching it. I just haven't started it yet.
What is it about? I don't even know. I've never even heard of this.
It's like a Western gangster type of fucking TV show on Peacock.
Oh shit! What's your favorite
Kevin
Costner?
Young Guns. Or no, was it Young Guns.
Yeah, Young Guns. Mine's Tombstone. I love Tombstone. But
Tombstone sucks.
I have never
Tombstone sucks compared to Young Guns, bro. You kidding me?
I mean, Young Guns is. I didn't shit on Young Guns. It was
Come on, man. Yo, which one is better, Young Guns 1 or Young Guns 2?
2.
Which one do you think is better? Young Guns 2 is by far the superior movie.
Yeah, I think Young Guns 2 is better. I think Young Guns 1 was good, but it was a good precursor to what they needed to establish more and give more of. And Young Guns 2 hit it right on the button.
Definitely.
Yeah. He says. We can get a Scar
movie.
You know what? As a matter of fact, we did get a confirmation today that they are pushing forward for a Planet Hulk movie, which again, I don't know how. We did get what's his face Han Solo. That's going to be the new Red Hulk, which is pretty much giving us the idea of a Planet Hulk or World War Hulk or something where it comes to that. We're going to get a really cool battle. I heard some other stuff too about the New World Order movie, that it's going to be about Sam Wilson getting like a new like Avengers team together.
I heard that.
And did you hear that Thunderbolt Ross is supposed to be president?
No.
He's supposed to be president of the United States. That's fucking wild.
Oh, man. Wait, no, because Harrison Ford. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think I did. Harrison Ford is supposed to be, I forgot what he is, but I did hear a leak about the new Avenger team that they're putting together.
What did you hear?
That's out. That's out.
Who are they looking at?
It's Sam Wilson. It's Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
It's him. It's Captain Marvel.
Okay. Straight.
It's She-Hulk.
Really?
It's Black Panther.
Okay. Well, is that Shuri's, I'm guessing?
Yeah, Shuri.
Okay, Shuri.
And it was somebody else.
Kate Bishop, man. It's probably Hawkeye. There's got to be a Hawkeye, no?
No.
Really?
I heard this earlier today, and it's not confirmed, but it's going to be those.
Maybe like a Bucky?
Those 4. I don't know if Bucky. I don't remember if it was Bucky. I think that would have stood out if it was Bucky. But I think they're just going to keep Bucky in the Thunderbolts. Like that's where he's gonna be, and that's where,
because that kind of will break him into like the West Coast Avengers later.
Yeah, and it wasn't Moon Knight, Vince. I was hoping it was.
Damn.
I was hoping it was Moon Knight, but that wasn't one of the people that I heard. Actually Grace Randolph had said that earlier today.
You know what? As a matter of fact, with Vince saying that, we got to pray that they don't bring any of those characters that they established with like Moon Knight, Black Knight. We don't want them to come, because I think if Marvel plays their cards right, if they keep them away in the internals, like the way they have the internal shit going on, they can literally just focus on those guys to make the Midnight Suns. Like, but they don't need to establish them in any other superhero group. Just separate them.
Okay.
Have them doing their own like little things in the corner. They already established Werewolf by Night very fucking well. Moon Knight was established pretty well. Black Knight not so much because he just played the damsel in distress in the Eternals, but just keep those guys on their own and build the Midnight Suns. I think that would be cool. They established magic in that other movie, which was pretty good too. There was something else too I wanted to ask you. Did you hear about any of the rumors for Ant-Man 2 or 3 or what was it, 4 or whatever?
No.
Have you heard any of the rumors? Okay, so the daughter is like a really bad, not bad, but she's like a chick that's growing up to be a bad person. So she's got like a lot of attitude, real rebellious teenager type or whatever. Scott is kind of like, maybe Ironheart. You think Ironheart's part of that group, the Avengers?
I don't remember it being Ironheart. I'm looking it up now. I'm trying to look it up online before going onto Grace Randolph's post that she put earlier. But yeah.
Okay, so going back, Ant-Man he's doing pretty good. He's kind of like this celebrity. He started a podcast, wrote a book, and does all this other stuff, letting people know about the Avengers and his little like trips and tropes. He's trying to be a better father to Cassidy or Casey or whatever, but she's being like this rebellious nature. She's kind of delving more into the quantum realm. She creates this item that creates a pulse, and Kang pulls them in. And that's when you find out that what's her name? The Wasp chick, the original one, the mom, Michelle Pfeiffer's character. She kind of was dating the Bill Murray's character.
Oh yeah, I heard all this.
And then she had a relation with Kang also. Like was helping Kang.
No, there wasn't I mean, she has a relationship with Kang. He basically said that he was stuck there just like her. So he basically used her. Spoilers, by the way, guys. Spoilers.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're theories. It's not really like spoilers. We don't know if it's real or not. It's just very up in the air.
No, this is like almost confirmed. But
what? No,
it's like almost confirmed. So I don't honestly. Yes, to answer your question, I heard all this. I know basically this entire movie. I'm still gonna see it. It sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
So to avoid spoilers and anyone that doesn't want to spoil us, I'm not going. We should just go into our next topic.
Oh, you don't even want to talk about it?
No, because like we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna spoil it because honestly, I think it's a really good story that they're telling.
Sounds cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit more intrigued. I've never really been like, especially after part 2, like Ant-Man, I've always kind of didn't really care for him too much.
What I watch on a daily basis is full of spoilers. It's full of spoilers. It's full of theories. So anything you think you heard of, I've heard it like 10 times already. Trust me.
The cool thing that I've heard is that one, the MODOK dude is going to be that guy from the first movie. Yep, which I think that's kind of witty. It's kind of cool. Like you can see how his body gets deformed. Like if his head stays big and his arms and legs stay small, it's literally because of the fact that he was distorted because of like the quantum shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense. Cause I don't know how they were going to do that originally. Like if they were just going to mutate him or what. But the other thing I think is cool is that they are, they're looking for Kang's chair. That's what they said. They're looking for the chair. Which I assume that they were going to be looking for some type of power source, but maybe the chair is the key to the ship or whatever. But apparently the Kang that's captured in the quantum realm is like the worst Kang. And the reason why he's the worst Kang is because he's the only one that's been able to find a way to transverse not just the multiverse, but the timeline also. So it makes it to where, like, not only does he go through different multiverses, which is pretty normal for a Kang, but then when he gets to a multiverse, he can transcend all their time period, which I guess that makes him pretty fucking deadly.
Again, I don't want to spoil it for people. I don't think you're 100% correct on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's from what I've heard, like a little bit.
But I know because listen, I just think that everyone should, if you have a chance, just rewatch the Loki finale, and a lot of what's going on moving forward is going to be based off of the Kang Wars that were alluded to the finale of Loki. And the reason why this Kang is where he is is the aftermath of that original Kang war that is talked about in Loki 1. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, that sounds pretty good. I'm liking that they're connecting that pretty well. So good stuff. Okay, onwards to the next part of the conversation. Interesting stuff. So the Flash trailer, the notorious Flash trailer, the notorious Ezra Miller film that we thought was like a red stain on the DC's cloth for a long time. It finally is getting a release trailer, which I guess we can safely say this movie is going to get released.
It's for sure being released. Yeah.
It looks like it's going to get released, which there's probably going to do some crazy reshoots or whatnot to try to make it correlate with the world. But I've been hearing a bunch of crazy stuff going on with the DC universe in the last couple of weeks, like the last couple of days, which of course, I mean, for one, Ezra Miller's film is getting a release date, which means, he'll get some royalties and get some money made out of it. But I'm guessing they're going to use this to revamp the entire DC universe and go straight into the reboot after. So there will be some crazy stuff from what I've heard basing off of this. Oh yeah. So the release date is going to be Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be the day of the Super Bowl. It's going to be released during the Super Bowl, which why not, right? Release the most problematic actor you've ever had in your company on the most interesting sports day where 1 million people watch it. Don't just be hiding that shit. But yeah, other things that I've heard is Peacemaker is going to be staying in the DC universe, which of course James Gunn's IP. He only established it in the HBO Max, so it's going to be staying. Robert, what do you think about Robert Pattinson's Batman?
What do you mean?
Like when it comes to like the overarching idea of what they're going to do with DC, what do you think they should do with Robert Pattinson's Batman?
It's got to stay. You don't have another Batman, so you got to
like. Do you think? And I know it sounds weird to talk about because Marvel. I mean, DC's always silly as fuck. Robert Pattinson's Batman was disconnected from the DC universe because they had Ben Affleck's Batman. And being that it was disconnected, he was kind of like a lot of randos and people like that will call it, normies will call it, it's part of Elseworld. It's the Elseworld storyline, but they don't even know what the fuck that is. But it was disconnected from their major universe for their films. Do you feel like now, since everything is being rebooted and they're reestablishing, that they should establish Robert Pattinson's Batman as the Batman of the definitive DC universe going forward now?
I'm confused with the question. Like, what other choice do they have? Do you think that I think he should be recasted?
Yeah. Do you think they should start, because they're doing a whole new Superman, whole new Wonder Woman, whole new everybody. They're starting anew. They're not using any of the expended Snyderverse. I want to say Snyderverse specifically. They're not using any of the Snyderverse actors, minus Peacemaker, right? And apparently Zachary Levi. Apparently he might be staying too. But yeah, they're not using any of those characters. So more than likely they're going to reestablish new characters. But
the only character that is safe is going to be Robert Pattinson's Batman. He's the only one that's safe, and that's because it will they can't do anything to that character. He's protected. Like James Gunn has total immunity, total authority over every other thing that DC has control over, except that Batman. He has been told he cannot touch that Batman. So no matter what he thinks he wants to do with the DCU going forward, he can't touch him. So it's in his best interest to just build around him. Yeah, to build around him.
But do you think they should make that Batman the Justice League version of the Batman going forward? Like, do you think they should make him the connected Batman? Or should they continue to do it to where it's like, no, this Batman's disconnected in his own world?
See, I'm confused by your question because they're not doing the Justice League version that we know so far anymore. So
yeah, James Gunn came out and said like 2 days ago that the plan that they're going with is they're going to try to establish the Justice League Unlimited universe and the young Teen Titans from this television show, the animated show.
But that's not
Young
anything
Justice.
that we. But that's not what we have. That we've had already. That's going to be something completely new.
Yes, it's good. Well,
so
yeah,
if you,
it's going to be something disconnected.
So because the fact that he was already disconnected and what you plan on doing moving forward is disconnected, there's not an issue with that. Plus,
So
plus again, he can't touch him anyway. So there's not like again, there's no other character that Levi, the fucking Shazam, he's not safe. He's putting himself, and I want to speak to that a little bit because he's putting himself a little bit in a weird position, and he's putting himself and James Gunn in a weird position because he's all but saying, I'm good. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think that none of them are safe. I don't even think that the Suicide Squad is safe. I don't think John Cena is safe. I don't think Peacemaker is safe.
They said he's pretty safe.
That I don't know for a fact. The only one that I know, that's all pretty much hearsay. I would say that maybe you're right because that is James Gunn's thing. So maybe you are right, but that's not confirmed. The only thing that is confirmed moving forward that cannot be touched by James Gunn, that is for sure going to be the character moving forward, is that Batman. That I can assure you.
But do you think it's still a good thing for DC to be still establishing this, like, we have a Batman here, but we have a Batman here too? Like going on at like the same time.
There's only one Batman. This is going to be the Batman. That's it. Like there's not the reason why James Gunn came out and said, "Oh, everything from the DCE from the DCU that you know so far is gone," is so that we don't have multiple Batman, so we don't have multiple Superman. So we he's getting rid of that. We are going to have one Batman, one Superman, one Wonder Woman, one of each character, and we already have the Batman again because he can't touch that. So it would be in his best interest to just play along with it. Fuck it. If I can't touch it, I'll use it. I don't see him because just that doesn't even make any sense. Because then, like, why put yourself in the same position you just got out of? That just doesn't make any fucking sense.
And that was my big thing, is because like I know that they're in the DC universe. They still have Robert Pattinson, which is 100% safe from like what it was they were doing with the Snyderverse, because Matt Reeves established that Batman was independent, like in his own universe. And they did the same thing with the Joker, who ends up being a Joker character that's not even established in the Robert Pattinson universe. Or from what they've said, they can still switch it because they could all say it was all in his brain or whatever. But they were both established that they were like these off stories. I don't know, DC Dark, or I don't know what they want to call it. But the concept is, we know for sure that James Gunn and his partner, I forgot his partner's name, they're both coming in and they're both wiping out what it was that was the established universe, and they want to start a new one. And their goal is to be, if not as big, to get as big as what Marvel has, which is they want to make a definitive universe with multiple characters in it so they can create teams and squads and more money and more opportunity for the company. They want to establish it in a bigger sense. But all I was asking is, do you believe that the Robert Pattinson Batman would be the Batman that later on would be a part of James Gunn's Justice League? Because from what it looks like, that Batman story is still Matt Reeves' character. Like you said, it's not supposed to be touched. So it's still pretty much isolated in its own universe, which means James Gunn more than likely will still have to look for a new Batman.
No,
I think that's a stupid move.
I think that Matt Reeves has full control over that IP, and if he wants it in the Justice League, it'll be in the Justice League. It'll happen. Listen, man, fuck all that, bro. Let's get to The Rock and his dude. We finally get a response from The Rock, and you want to talk about fucking bitch ass fucking Batman, bro? Are you kidding me, bro? We have fucking The Rock finally makes a statement about his Black Adam character that he spent 8 years putting together is getting canceled, and you want to talk about Robert Pattinson, bro?
Yo, what did The Rock say, man?
All right, I'm pulling up
I didn't even think of that today, man.
The state. I thought that was on like the agenda. I thought that was like on the agenda.
No, we didn't even talk about Black Adam. We talked about Black Adam last week.
Nah, so yeah, The Rock put out a statement which was a bunch of fucking horse shit. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for my language. I'm gonna clean that up. I think he showed grace, but I don't believe a goddamn word he said.
Shit, what happened?
I don't believe anything. So The Rock put out a statement a few days ago, and it was basically saying that, actually I'll read it for you,
Yeah.
actually.
That's crazy. I didn't even know.
So and I have both of them here. This is kind of long. So it says, my passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and Seven Bucks, his production company, have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in the future of the DC multiverse chapters. James and I known each other for over the years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC, in quotes, and Marvel to win and win big. You guys know me, and I have very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. These decisions made by James and DC leadership represent their vision of DCU throughout their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the film we delivered for fans worldwide. I will always look back on the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam / superhero genre fans, I love you, thank you, and I will always listen to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you.
Nice.
What a hell of a month. Now we need some Terramana. Have a productive week and happy holidays to you and your families. Dwayne Johnson. To that, sir,
shout out to Michael Betancourt. Merry Christmas, man. Hope you're doing good. He says running a D&D game tonight, so taking a quick break. Shout out.
Nice,
hope you give those guys some hell. Give that group some hell in that team, man. So, Mike's good to see you, man. Hope you're doing good. Jeremy says the dude is peak condition and Gunn, like, sorry, man, gotta wait 10 years for another movie.
What do you say? What do you say to that? What do you say to first off, The Rock? Apparently, they've been good friends. They've been good friends for years, but he waited until now to say something about him taking the job at DC. So I call bullshit there. Number one,
I think he's upset.
What do you say?
Upset. I think for sure The Rock's upset. Well, one, he's upset with not getting that opportunity to be like the head or something up top of the DC universe, and two, James Black Adam, for what it's worth, was a fun film, but it did not make the money that it was supposed to, nor did it change the hierarchy or do anything that he was promoting. Which I get it, man. He's there to sell tickets. He's there to sell film. He's there to try to get as many people as he can to the theaters to go see his stuff. He's Mr. Entertainment, like we talked about. But yeah, I think he's upset. But in the process of it too, I think there's something that they're not talking about, which is I think they're 100% going to come back to these actors in 10 years. Every one of them. And I think they're all going to have a major role. I think all of them, Henry Cavill, The Rock, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, who's moving back to this Fast and the Furious franchise, as a matter of fact, in Fast 10. She confirmed it today. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people forget that DC is by far a lot more fun when it comes to like connecting multiverses. And now that Marvel, of course, is jumping on the bandwagon and everybody's talking about the nostalgia and them doing all of this stuff with like old school IPs of like the X-Men and Fantastic Four. And I hope we get these characters and this and that. Like DC's been doing it on just the whim. They'll just throw that shit anywhere. They've brought back the Adam West Batman he passed away, but they brought back the Dick Grayson from that time. They brought back Eckhart. No, not Eckhart. They brought back the detective or the reporter that's in the old Batman movies from the 80s. They brought, they've established Constantine. Keanu Reeves is talking about coming back, and they established the TV show Constantine, which was on the WB and then they brought him into the CW. Like DC's not scared to make a multiversal like show or story or anything. And they're not scared to reach it. Yeah, like they're not going to be pulling Ezra Miller out of prison, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, when DC ends up getting everything established with James Gunn and the other dude, with them talking to Jim Lee and being very tight about it, that they wanted to correlate very much to the comics. When they get to that Dark Side War, or they get to the Anti-Monitors Infinity Crisis movie, and they bring in like establishing Brandon Routh as Superman, you know, not Christopher Reeves, but Henry Cavill, the new Lois and Clark, Dean Cain, they bring back all the Superman for a film. People are going to come back to the podcast and they're going to be like, man, Chris said that shit. I can't believe it. Everybody out there making eulogies for Henry Cavill like if he's dead. Same thing with Black Adam. These guys aren't dead. They're going to be used again. Like DC will make it happen. There's stories, dude. I'm telling you, like Infinity Crisis literally is
no
a story
shot. There's no
based
shot
on every Superman across the universe, including Supergirl.
There's no
so
shot.
Like all of these characters,
you're hanging your whole theory on the whim that they go down that story that they go down that arc. We don't know that for a fact. We don't know that they're going to go down that arc. And then not only that, but this what we have seen over the last 6 months from DC, dude. I cannot see a world. Maybe time heals all wounds, but I don't see a world where they pick up the phone and get Dwayne. He's one of the biggest actors in the world.
Yep.
You're telling me that you're gonna go 10 years from now and get him when he's the hottest thing right now? That's number one. And then number two, what makes you think he would want to do that after this?
Wait, what I mean, I understand one of the hottest stars in the world, but establishing in Hollywood as an actor, like what are we basing this on? Because that dude's mediocre as an actor. Like he plays himself The Rock very well.
But that has nothing to do with what I just said, though.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
No, yeah, he's a huge entity or an asset.
You're talking about
he's a huge celeb.
Yeah, so then that's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about his acting skills, and I'm not talking about. I don't give a fuck. I think he makes horrible fucking movies. But what I'm saying is, he's the hottest you're gonna get him at it from now until 10 years from now. You have him at his peak right now. You're never going to get him at a hotter time than right now to sell your product.
But at his hottest time, he still didn't make money from the Black Adam movie.
Again, that doesn't make it. That doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, if you're going to bring him back in 10 years, it will be pointless because you had him when.
Wait. But I'm using 10 years very, very loosely because I'm basing
5 years.
Yeah, let's just say
2 years. Even 2 years from now.
Yeah, I don't want to keep saying 10 years and people think that like that's when it's going to happen. No, could happen at any time.
For you to think that they're going to establish the storyline that you're predicting them to tell in the next 5 years, I think is a little bit more of than a stretch. They're not going to be able to pull that off. And if they do try to pull that off, they're going to fail. Because they're going to be rushing at that point. Well, so I think you are right. I think you are right with the 10 years because it took Marvel 10 years.
It takes a long time to establish all these type. And then if you're talking about multiple fucking characters, there's a lot of people in the DC universe.
So what I'm saying is, if they're going to pull that off, it will probably take 10 years for them to pull that off. I will give you that, right? Yeah. What the fuck makes you think that you're going to get The Rock to come back, or Henry Cavill, or Gal Gadot 10 years from now, even close or resembling the stars that they are right now?
Yeah, that they are right now. No, and aging out is 100%.
And then what makes you think that they will want to after this anyway? This is a complete shit show. Like I'm on that side of thinking like this is over. We're never going to see them in these roles again. I think James Gunn saying that there's opportunities down the line is just like satire. I don't think that he's actually thinking about doing that. It's his way.
There's a part of me that thinks it's possible, but like
it's his way of trying to be the nice guy. It's his way of showing the fans, hey, I'm letting them down gently. We're not we're not completely closing the door on these characters, but they're out of here.
But you know what? Like,
he's trying to be a nice guy about
this.
this.
As a matter of fact, like there is a statement that he made recently on Twitter, and James Gunn it's talking about like the way people have responded to the situation going on in the DC universe right now.
See, Jeremy believes that. He said, "Hell nah, Henry's gonna laugh and hang up the phone."
Henry's the other situation.
He's out of here.
I think he would, but like Henry, nah, dude, he's already gone through fucking shit for his character. But James Gunn responds to the DCU backlash by saying, "We are aware that there would be a period of turbulence when we took this gig, and we knew we would sometimes have to make difficult and not so obvious choices, especially in the wake of the fractured nature of what came before us. This means little to us in the comparison to our jobs as artists and custodians in helping to create a wide and wonderful future for DC." Now, what I want to ask is anyone in the comment section, if you're a fan of the DC universe, we all know that eventually the film itself or the films would have to lead up to an event. What event in your mind, if you're a fan of the DC comic books, would be the event that something like that would be of magnitude that they could establish using some of the older characters or bringing in some of that nostalgia? Because of course, Warner Brothers and DC knows that the nostalgia shit is making people money. You look at it, and the number one movie of this past year or 2 years has been Spider-Man No Way Home, and not because it's a good story, but because of the nostalgic of bringing back all of the old school Spider-Man and the Spider-Man villains. Like, that's literally what that was. And that was the only movie out of all of these films that broke $1 billion. So, of course, DC wants to be a part of that.
I think they're fucking up because the storyline I personally would like to see them tell is the Flashpoint paradox. I think that would be but
you'll be able to establish that literally with any Flash movie, which is what they were already going to do originally. But I think that would be a lead up movie, like at least 1 or 2 into the Flash story. Like, I
think that's a whole arc. I think that is an event. That is something that you're gonna build up to. I think
because when he comes back, it changes the fabric of existence, right? Like, there's already things that are just like permanently changed that are minute, but still a big effort.
Yeah, for me, that would be something that I would like to see them looking forward to. I wouldn't want to see. Look, there you go, the Flashpoint story. Yeah. Thanks, John.
Yeah. And John's my bro. I love you, brother. John is a huge comic book DC fan, but even with him, he says Infinity Crisis. Like, if you were looking up a story for the DC universe that had to deal with an Infinity War Endgame style concept, I think, of course, and I don't think you're wrong, I think Flashpoint is probably one of the biggest ones. But of course, Flashpoint deals with time travel and multiversal travel. So you're going to need that opportunity to have, I mean, dude, they were going to establish, I mean, in the trailer, we see like the daughter of Clark and what's her face and Lois, and nobody even knows her character. People had to Google search that shit to be excited about it. You know what I mean? Like, you could literally be like, Flashpoint story, he runs back or into another multiverse and he runs into like Henry Cavill's Superman, and it's like he's the Kingdom Come Superman. Or he's the Injustice, which I believe the Snyderverse was based more on Injustice. So he's like that villainous that Superman that we didn't get to see, but it was in that flashback of the Flash, or that weird future experience that the Flash runs into him, and that's
where cool, honestly too, right? That was exactly. Personally, I think there was going to be a mashup of the Flashpoint paradox and the Injustice story, and I think that Snyder was going to marry them and make his own fucking event, variation. His own event. I think that's where we were headed, and I was for it personally. Yeah, I was for it.
So I think the Flashpoint story works very well as an arc to develop the Flash character as an independent, but it still have its effects on the entire universe. And then John also mentions the Reign of Superman, which is based off of the Doomsday story when all the different Supermen come back, which fuck, that would be an awesome movie to watch also. But of course it has its ramifications on the entire universe after. And then of course, I'm a really big story person when it comes to the Doomsday story for Superman. I thought it was hyper overrushed in the Snyderverse, and I think it had potential to be its own fucking amazing arc. But yeah, again, Infinity Crisis comes up in conversation, but that didn't even mention to the fact that Flashpoint also brings up this perfect opportunity to still keep some of these characters around. So that means if they develop a Flash movie in the next several years, I mean, yeah, we know we're going to get this other one coming out, but if they establish it with a newer Flash, you could bring in those characters in 2 years and have them just do a cameo in it. And you still get all of these great stories with all of these actors. I mean, will it happen though? From what it seems like, there's a lot of emotions in the background. That's the easiest way to put it. There's a lot of emotions in the background.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
You're The Rock. No. Yeah. Because I don't think there's a chance in hell we get to see Henry Cavill don the Superman.
Yeah, I fucking dude.
Ever again.
Henry Cavill, like Jeremy said, laughs and fucking hangs up.
You're The Rock. 2 years from now, you done moved on. You're probably already starting your presidential bid at this point.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's
James
right.
Gunn,
president, right?
And James Gunn. That's why he's trying to get all this little bullshit out of the way now.
Yeah.
So he's not bothered with this shit in 10 years.
Can you imagine, dude, if he runs
calls
for president
you
and walks out as Black Adam, dude?
You just accepted the nomination to be president, and you have James Gunn's bitch ass calls you on the phone and says, "Hey, bro, you want to come put the suit on for me really quick and do a cameo in this movie for me?" Now you're The Rock. What are you saying to that? After all of this, of the shenanigans we just saw,
smell, and then hangs up, dude, right before he finishes the fucking thing.
You know what? He'll be like, "Well, James, when does this movie? When do you plan on having this movie come out?" "Oh, well, it doesn't matter when you have this movie coming out."
Oh, man, I hope they record that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, there's just no shot. There's no shot that we'll see any of these people come back ever. This is bad.
I mean, I just feel like it gives you the opportunity for cameos because, like I said, there's a lot of people that came out that said they would never come back. They came out on the just the Flash television show, like the crossover event that they had. They brought back the fucking Smallville Superman, and I don't know.
This is.
Do you remember that guy or no?
I don't, but this is. But I can assure you that his situation has.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, it's dwarfed
nothing like this.
By what's going on with The Rock and Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it's nothing like and Gal Gadot and everyone else, and we don't even need to talk about fucking Ezra Miller. Like that's just a whole nother shit show. So it's like I just don't see how that works. There's too much. There's way too many egos, way too much money, way too much pride. Like this, and it's over. It's over.
So in just for those that are out there, we're just giving a little bit of heads up, and it's nothing too crazy. It's just little things that we've heard and stuff. Zachary Levi released a Twitter video on December 20 yesterday, and he put in the video, it's pretty cool if you guys go check it out. And in it, he makes a statement that says, "As of this point right now, I'm still Shazam, and I have no idea what's ultimately going to happen, but I think I'm in a pretty good position."
See, and that's what. No, that's not. You can't.
Oh.
You can't start off reread the first sentence.
Oh, well,
no,
he doesn't know what's going on.
No. Just reread that one more time out loud for everyone. What does he say again?
As of this point right now.
As of this point right now.
Yes,
that's it.
Yesterday.
As of this point right now, lets me know you don't know what the fuck is going on, bro.
I like Robert. Robert's like, I can't wait to see what happens next week. Yeah, no shit. It's like a fucking like a sitcom with all these guys, dude. They can make a show based on the DC news. Like they could just make a show. DC should make a reality show based on this reality shit that's going on with them.
When you start the sentence off by saying "at this point right now," that tells me you don't know what the fuck is going on.
You don't know what's going on.
All you're doing, you're trying to assure your fans. As of right now, I'm still him. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. So that
what was good is that this movie, minus the weird ending of the first film, and then of course what Black Adam did, they did it worse. But Shazam's kind of disconnected. Like they haven't really established that he's a part of that Zack Snyder universe because he's not It's not associated with any of the characters. Like it's only
But
like
he
I think
is.
like at the end, like yeah. Well, I mean,
But
we
he-
all associate him with it because
But
it's
he is,
it feels
though.
like it correlates with that universe.
It was already said that Black Adam was a part of the first movie. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman was supposed to be the cameo in,
But didn't happen.
All right, but Superman, Henry Cap. Well, no, it did happen.
Well, for Black Adam, yes. Shazam, it didn't.
Well, no, Shazam, it did happen. They just cut it. Like they
Yeah,
cut that.
all they did was
cut
they
the
showed
cameo.
like the lower part of a person.
No,
They didn't even show the person's face.
No, that's Superman. I'm talking about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is supposed to be in this movie, in the Shazam movie. That they're going to cut out.
Two, right? The second one.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So James Gunn is kind of cucking this movie because we already know it's not going to have any ramifications moving forward. Like there's like
same thing with like Aquaman, right?
It's a same thing with Aquaman. Like we're getting these movies and we already know that nothing. It's Titanic, a waste of time. It's a waste of time, bro. It's literally a waste of time.
I have to ask, and I know we got a little bit of time because it's already gonna be 11. What do you think about the Blue Beetle film?
I don't know what to think. Who's to say that movie's even still happening?
Well, I mean, it's there is pictures and there are releases of like them working on the studio. I
saw pictures of Batwoman too. I saw pictures of Batgirl too,
and that shit got cut.
So at this point,
Debo
I think we're not doing ourselves any like
justice.
Favors trying to dictate or figure out what the fuck is going. You can't make sense of any of this shit. They're cutting their losses. They're cutting actors left and right. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore, dude. I don't.
Yeah, it's like Robert said, I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's because we were talking about that. We were like, man, what are we gonna talk about, man? Like the DC universe, like it's in shambles. Like I guess we took a whole 2 hours to explain that shit. I have to ask Brian. This goes out to anybody in the comment section. How is your Christmas shopping coming along?
I'm finished, man. This is actually the first year where I haven't waited to the last minute. Wait, let me ask you a question. Do you physically still go into stores to buy shit? Are you still like you still do that shit?
Not too much. I mean, there's times where it's like when I know it has to be one of those moments where like I know I can get the thing I need. No, so like, let's say you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna walk into a store and I'm gonna pick up this like badass Mirio Lemillion pop, right? Yeah, you already know. Dude. Guys, if you're not watching My Hero Academia, my boy Lemillion just came back and fuck, it was super good. It's good to see him back and probably one of the greatest fucking hero arcs I've ever seen in a comic book history. But like if you know for sure you're gonna walk into like a pop store and they have this, like why not? Why wait the 7 days for mail for it to snail mail to your house? You know what I mean?
Because it's fucking 2023. Let me ask people in the comments, do you guys still go to the stores to pick up Christmas gifts? Because I'll be damned if I'm going to anyone's store to pick anything up.
Look at Vince's comment. I like Vince's comment. I want to see Brian as Superman and Chris as Batman.
Straight. I would be the illest Superman ever, bro. And not that like fucking Michael B. Jordan bullshit. Like I want to be my own fucking. I'll be a cursing Superman, and I would just
Homelander or what?
I'd be the Homelander. Seriously, I would be way more Homelander than Clark Kent. I can promise you that. I can promise you.
But no, okay. So going back, I know we got a little bit of time left. I don't got too much time with you because you got to go bed. You got to go sleepy. You got to go.
Bye bye.
Yeah, dude. What? Okay, so when and where do you go shopping then? Like, what do you do? Like, because you're telling me like, so you do everything online now?
Absolutely. That's what it's invented for, Chris.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite sites that you go buy stuff from?
I guess just clothing stores and Amazon.
Yeah, I'm not a big Amazon dude.
I can find anything on Amazon, dude. Why do I need to be in rush hour, just in god awful traffic in some mall that I hate, just with the most nastiest people in the most worst time of year, when I can literally have that shit on my doorstep in 2 days? All you have to do, bro, is not wait
to the last minute.
The last minute. That's all you have to do, and the shit comes to you, bro.
Right now, if you're looking to buy something for Christmas, you're kind of like the 7 days off. Like you're gonna have to do like express mail. You're gonna pay the extra couple of bucks to get that shit the next 2 days. Like, so Jeremy here says, I do because I have an idea of what I'm gonna buy, and I ordered something like off of Etsy, and it's not coming till like mid-January now. But the other thing is with Etsy is like it's like personal made, isn't it?
Yes, I'm saying like when you buy something over Etsy, you need to buy that out.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks in advance.
You need to buy that out.
I have to ask, like, what are your go-to gifts for like, let's say gamers? Let's say if someone has a friend who's a gamer, what's something cool right now?
Pops. Okay. It just pops are always a good thing. And whatever specific game they like. I have a lot of wrestling fans, so wrestling friends. So when we do like our Secret Santa, I just I can always go on like the WWE .com and or the shop and buy something, or I again, I'm not walking in anyone's store to get anything for anyone. I'm sorry.
Well, it's probably a lot crazier because of the population of your area. For us, it's not too crazy, but the McAllen area, which is our bigger city, it's there's a lot of construction. Like you can drive an hour in McAllen and be in McAllen still like an hour later. Like it's stupid, like the way the construction is right now. They're kind of redoing like the entire expressway, so everything's in shambles. And not only that, we get a lot of international shoppers from Mexico, so a lot of them kind of come over from the border. They get their permissions to come across and do the work and get their stuff, and then they take off. But yeah,
gift cards. What are you a big gift card guy?
Sometimes me personally, like it's like you said, like when I don't get out to stores and see what shops have, it's hard for me to choose a really good gift for someone. Man. So for me, I'll be like, dude, like, well, I like we have a friend of ours. His name's Nathan. Shout out, Big Nathan. Shout out. He loves like tabletop card games, like the Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. Like he's a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And like we went to we'll go to a store and be like, okay, cool. Like, what can we get for our friends? And we see something, but there's not a lot of opportunity for that.
See, and that's why, and I don't care who gets mad. Yeah, I don't care. And I'm not even going to say that, but I don't care who gets mad at me. I am a big gift card giver because you know why? I'm not going to be beat walking in someone's store, trying to figure out what you like. Then you got to go through the whole thing. Then if you're wrong, then they have to act like they like the shit.
Yeah. Listen, and then what if they already have it?
I'm going to give you this gift card, right? I'm going to put X amount of dollars on it, and then you go get whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, I am a huge, I know it's like disingenuous and it's not personal and all that shit. I am a huge gift card person. All I need to know is what you like. Oh, you like video games? Boom, gift card to Xstop. Xstop.
Right.
GameStop. If I know you like, if I saw the X's in there. If you like wrestling, I'm giving you a gift card here. Even if I don't know what you like, I'm giving you a gift card to Amazon. Everyone could find something on Amazon.
Yeah, for sure. For hell, they can find on Amazon.
So boom, you go do your own thing, bro.
That's super crazy. And you know what? Like the scrutiny about it is like if you give a gift card to someone, sometimes they'll be like, well, yeah, like you said, like it's kind of disingenuous. But if you gave them the same amount in money, you just handed money in their hand, they would be like, oh, dude, thanks. Yeah. Like, that's so cool. You gave me money. But what's the difference? What's the fucking difference? If it's on a card, it's still money. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
I ask.
Yeah, man.
I ask. I'm like, yo, do you want cash or do you want a gift card? Because you're only going to get one of the two. I'm not going to be walking in someone's store. I'm not going to be online for an hour thinking of what you like.
Nowadays, it can be pretty hard, man. Especially like with the genre. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'll straight gangster this shit. Nerds are hard to buy for, dude. Mm-hmm. They're hard motherfuckers to buy for. And the reason why I say that is because if you go off and some nerd guy that you know is like, yo, I'm like, let's say I'm really into wrestling.
Yeah.
Right. More than likely that motherfucker owns 3 or 4 figures of the same dude that he likes. Yeah. He has 4 or 5 shirts of the same dude that he likes. He has 3 championship belts. One of them's plastic. The other one's metal. The other one's fucking diamond and Rubik's zirconia. And then he's got 5 autographs from 5 different dudes that are all different. He has literally everything he's always wanted as a fan. Mm-hmm. What else can you do other than like the weirdest fucking pillow of Stone Cold Steve Austin? Or what weird niche gift can you get this person that's going to make him happy? It's going to be something that he needs to search for to get it for him. So the best thing to do is get him like some type of gift card for it, because it's nuts, dude.
Exactly, because I'm not doing that for you and then like 10
And
other people that have to. But I'm not doing that, bro. Listen, I'm like Vince, bro. Vince, I don't know if you're being funny or shit or not, but
Amazon gift card.
Not Amazon. No, the Whataburger. I'm a big I'm a big food gift card receiver. Like, if you want to get me a gift, give me a gift to like somewhere to eat, bro.
Yeah, not
like
Chili's,
give me something. Listen, listen, I may shit on it because I flew thousands of miles to get.
Yeah, but you get a $30 Chili's card. Yeah,
But if you give me a 30, if you give me a $30 fucking, because you know what, you never know when that will come in handy, bro.
Yeah, that's absolutely fucking correct. That's absolutely, dude. A Whataburger gift card. You put like.
Yo, I would love that.
Yeah,
yo,
like
bro,
a $25, $30 gift card of Whataburger. Dude,
you give me a $30 Whataburger gift card. That'll literally be the best fucking gift you could possibly give me, bro.
That's like 3 hamburgers, man. That's fucking
seriously,
bro. Jeremy says, just pick me up some comic books. And that's like a cool lottery too. But what if you end up getting the same comic book for the person that they already have?
See, what's cool is like even the smaller businesses, whether they be like comic books or whatever, now they have their own gift cards. So you can just go get a gift card to a comic book store. Here's a $50 gift card to this comic book store. Go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like even then you know
what's even cooler than that are like the ones that have like apps, dude. Like all these food places, guys, like you're missing out if you don't have an app for the place that you like to eat. My best friend Christella has like a Taco Bell app, and like every time we go, like, like chalupa, like all like for free all the time.
All the fast foods I have on my phone. I have them all. I have Dunkin' Donuts. I got Starbucks. I got McDonald's. I got Burger King. I got all that shit on my phone.
So worth it. So worth it. Yeah. So guys, being that we are 3 days away from Christmas, probably right now is not the best time to do any online ordering. If you do, you just got to let the person know that you ordered them something online. And if they don't mind waiting, they don't mind waiting. I mean, it's still a gift. If you don't get it on Christmas, we know it's not Santa. You know what I mean? So, but as long as we're getting but if right now, if you're a video game fan, what I recommend is don't forget a lot of the times we can buy digital, and Steam has a huge holiday sale. And so does PlayStation has a huge holiday sale. Xbox has huge holiday sales right now. The easiest thing for gamers is to buy them games. You just had God of War Ragnarok just came out, so good. FIFA 2023 just recently dropped a new beta or something like that. Like, there's so many things right now in video games that right now you can make the video game person happy. For the comic book lover and the comic book nerd, there's some specific comic books that are out. Go to any one of your local comic book shops. They're dropping stuff all the time. Of course, there's posters for comic books. Of course, nothing beats getting these little stand style characters that they can put on their things. I have Boji here from Ranking of Kings, which is one of my favorite animes. We got this from Lalo Cortez from Press Start Gaming. Shout out to Lalo and Press Start Gaming here in Edinburgh. Gave me a little Mega Man, and then of course my roommate Christella got me the little Ryu a long time ago. These kind of things that you can put on your desk, like they may be little knickknacks and stuff, but for the adult that wants to show off his nerdism at work, these are really great gifts and non-expensive too. What else? I
had to buy like hella fucking, what are they called? Squishmallows. I had to buy a shit ton of those. Those motherfuckers really are expensive. Yeah,
how much were you spending on them?
Like maybe like 20 a pop, dude. Like I got some of the generic ones. I got some Disney ones. Yeah, I got like 10 or 11 fucking Squishmallows for my daughter.
Where you getting them at, like CVS and Walgreens and stuff, or what?
Walmart. I think I got them mostly at Walmart. I got some at Target. I got some on Amazon that I still have coming to me tomorrow.
So guys, don't forget that. So if you have the precious person in your life that's into that, Squishmallows are very popular right now. Of course, sneakers are super popular right now. So if you can get to a sneaker store and buy some really cool sneakers are popular. Card games are really popular because the price of cards are going up again, and a lot of people are starting to show interest in the collection area. Video game sales, don't forget Steam, which is a PC game processing system that has all the video games. And then of course the regular consoles and your Switch, all of them have sales going on right now. And there you go. Vince bought his girlfriend. Shout out to Ariel. What's up, Ariel?
Vince, I like the move. Vince.
Good call for the romantic. Don't forget, if you're in the area, don't forget too, the convention center has a really nice outdoor South Pole event that's going on at the convention center. So if you guys want to go on a little date, I know Vince's girlfriend went recently. They posted up all the cutesy pictures. Really cool. So guys, don't forget. What about you, Brian? In your area, what do you guys have that's event stuff that people can do? Like, what do they do for the community and stuff?
A lot of people go to the PNC Art Center and do like the whole like Christmas drive-through thing.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool. I think Six Flags does like a Christmas thing.
Nice.
Here, that's Great Adventures for everybody. Six Flags Great Adventures here.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, the Elizabeth lives in San Antonio where Six Flags is. So
okay.
Shout out to. She was also talking about recently. There's a convention going down to San Antonio.
I looked it up. Yeah, I looked it up. It's like a Comic-Con that they have going out. I didn't know where it was. I looked it up when she wrote it. When she typed it in the comments.
It's like San Antonio, right?
It's not San Antonio, but like over there in that close
area?
by. Yeah, close by. It looks pretty cool.
Dude, all 4 Ninja Turtles are gonna be there.
Yeah.
That's rad. That is rad. Dude, as a matter of fact, talking about the Ninja Turtles, whoever are fans out there, and this will probably be what we're gonna end the show on with, so we're gonna get ready to end this. Todd McFarlane has agreed and signed a contract to do a Ninja Turtle series, Todd McFarlane toys. Prepare your wallets, folks. Yeah, prepare your wallets, because Todd McFarlane, I don't know if you've ever, like, if you kind of like go for his action figures, they're a little bit like on the pricey side. They go up to like $17-20, but they are fucking phenomenally beautiful. And they're going to be doing, my guess is they're probably going to be doing the Last Ronin. So my guess is going to be doing the Last Ronin show. So
that's cool.
Todd McFarlane's going to be doing a series for it. So if you're a Ninja Turtle fan, be aware, save some cash, because it's going to be all about it. Brian, what did you get yourself for Christmas? What have you babied yourself with? I mean, other than a fucking apartment. I mean, you got your whole goddamn new apartment. So
I didn't get myself, I don't ever get myself anything. This year, though, I do anticipate, I mean, my parents always just give me gift cards to like Amazon, because again, that's why cool. I tell them, just give me Amazon gift cards. So I was looking into either getting myself a DLSR for
nice, bro.
Here. So putting it towards that, either that or I was looking at like a camcorder.
Good stuff.
Sony has a really nice camcorder that records in 4K.
Beautiful.
And I don't know, probably I'm a sneakerhead, so maybe some sneakers. That's it. Nothing too much. I rarely get myself.
Good stuff. We did a really cool photo shoot the other day, so I'll be releasing those photos coming out in a couple of days. So guys, be prepared for that. And other than that, we want to make sure to tell you guys thank you again for coming on to this beautiful show with us and enjoying the show. Jumping in the comment section, even those that don't get to comment and just watch us, thank you so much. We appreciate every one of you. To our extraordinary listeners, we hope you guys have a happy holiday. We hope you guys have a very, very good Christmas with your families, and we hope that you guys are doing great things and you guys are happy. Enjoy these beautiful times. I don't know if anybody got to see it, but I saw one of the most touching posts, which was the Bruce Willis post. I don't know if you got to see that, Brian. Did you or no?
No.
So Bruce Willis made up with Demi Moore a little bit to have like their last Christmas vacation together. Well, Christmas meetup, because Bruce Willis he has this like disease that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And they were saying that this might be his last one. So they did like a family bonding get together with Demi's family and her and the kids, and they all had a meet up, and it's so sad to hear, but it was so beautiful of a post that, you know, I hope he can hold on to those memories. Vince, absolutely correct. Can't wait for 65, the movie. We were going to talk about it a little bit today, but I guess we'll save it for another time. We want to make sure we're not on too late. We're already done. But guys, we want to say, just like Jeremy says, happy holidays, guys. Thank you for the endless conversations and keeping the podcast going. Can't wait to see what happens this coming year. The growth, brother, the growth. We're pushing for hopefully another year coming up. And yeah, we just want to say thank you guys for enjoying the podcast and being with us all this time. Onwards, onto 2023. We'll see you guys. Have a happy holidays. I don't know. Let me check real quick. Let me check Yeah, dude. No. Actually, we got one more show before New Year's.
Yeah, no, we have another show.
Yeah,
so I was gonna say Happy New Year, but no, just Happy Holidays.
I was gonna be like, oh fuck, how many days we got left?
Yeah,
But straight up, we got one more
guys.
show for the holidays. We'll make sure we do something pretty fun, pretty cool. But guys, we want to say thank you to all our extraordinary listeners. We thank you so much for tuning in with us every weekend here Friday nights on the Average Boys Podcast. We love you, and we'll see you guys again next Friday here on the show. More nerd news. Have a good weekend. Be cool.
Peace.